What even is Omni-Man? A superhero? Definitely not. A supervillain? Well, he's a villain alright, just not a super one. Yeah, what's the difference?
Presentation!
Omni-Man is one badass character from the animated series Invincible. We meet him as Nolan Grayson, a dad to Mark Grayson, who is the main character of the show. You know, Mark is finally getting his superpowers, powers that are his by birth because Nolan is what is known as a Viltrumite. Prior to the show's beginning, Viltrum, the planet Viltrumites are from, was part of a nasty war which is called the Great Purge. This war wasn't like your average war, however. Instead of two parties clashing heads over land or political power, the Great Purge had the entirety of Viltrum fight each other to the death, calling anyone deemed to be weak. After the Great Purge, the Viltrum population was cut in half, but it made its inhabitants incredibly strong and powerful warriors. The Viltrumites would then launch a campaign in order to expand their empire across the galaxy. They invaded planets, slaughtering millions in the process. After conquering a whole lot of planets, the Viltrumites stopped going for full-on invasions because their numbers were wearing thin. Eventually, they came up with a new way to take over planets. Trusted Viltrumite officers, including Nolan, were sent down to various planets as Trojan horses in order to weaken the defenses from the inside and take over. So, while we see Nolan as a loving and caring father in the show, it is revealed that the reason he is on planet Earth in the first place is to take over from within. This brings me to my first point on Nolan's actual character, his origins. You see, being born on a planet that is completely different to Earth will change how you grow up. Not just physically, but mentally too. There will be different morals, codes, and traditions that completely change the way the entire planet acts and functions. Viltrumites are hardcore fascists, or imperialists. Listen, they're just very bad and evil dudes. They believe their way will always be the right way, and because of this, Nolan was brought up in a world where invading planets and killing millions, just because they were seen as genetically inferior, was completely morally justifiable. Because, after all, they're the Viltrumites and other species aren't as genetically gifted as them. Therefore, the Viltrumites shouldn't care about them or their lives. This way of thinking is obviously twisted, but that's the thing. To the Viltrumites, it's not twisted at all. That's just the reality they've spent their entire lives living. Nolan actually believed he was doing a good thing by invading Earth for his planet. Now, this definitely doesn't excuse Omni-Man's actions throughout the show, but it would explain a lot of Nolan's weird behavior, like his disregard for human life and seeing his wife as a pet. However, even though Nolan was raised a Viltrumite, there was something on Earth that was able to get him to crack. Humanity. Omni-Man's family eventually find out about his secret mission to conquer Earth, leading to a moment where Mark is asked by Nolan to join him in taking over Earth for the Viltrum Empire. Mark, of course, says no, and a fight ensues. Omni-Man beats the ever-living shit out of Mark, tormenting him along the way, killing an entire subway full of people using Mark's body. Even after all this pain and suffering inflicted onto Mark by his own father, he still says this.
What will you have after 500 years?
You, Dad. I still have you.
Omni-Man, seeing his son love for him shine through all the things he just put him through, breaks him. He flies away from Earth, with tears in his eyes. He flies off into space for a while, and with no purpose in life anymore, Nolan becomes depressed. He's about to let himself get chomped by this black hole, or neutron star? I don't know, I'm not a doctor, guys. But then he sees a spaceship that is in dire need of help. This was the purpose Nolan had been looking for. A chance to have something in his life again. He saves the spaceship and takes the aliens inside back to their home planet, Thraxa. Omni-Man would then become the Emperor of Thraxa and get married to a bug woman named Andressa, and even have a kid with her. However, Nolan and his new family aren't safe. Because he abandoned his mission on Earth, the Viltrumites will be tracking Nolan down. Omni-Man can't defend Thraxa alone, so he sends a Thraxan down to Earth to lure Mark to their planet. When Mark gets there, he is obviously angry that his father lied to him in order to get him to come to Thraxa, and also that he beat him within an inch of his life. The two argue a bit, and then they fight the Viltrumites that came for Nolan. The Viltrumites absolutely destroy Thraxa, while Mark and Nolan are getting Andressa and the alien baby to safety, which leads to this scene. Omni-Man grabs Mark by the throat and straight up asks him why he feels the way he does.
Why? Why do I care about them? They were weak, short-lived, barely a species. They shouldn't matter to me. You don't understand! I'm not supposed to feel this way! How is this better?
He doesn't even understand the emotions he's feeling, and it's really getting to him. This just strengthens my point that Nolan's upbringing is largely, if not entirely, at fault for his evilness in this show. He was raised to believe that other life forms are inferior, but now he's got that humanity in him and cares about creatures other than himself. I think Nolan does truly love his wife and son. He abandoned his mission, a mission that he was entrusted with by very powerful people that he knew would track him down and try to kill him, all because his son's show of humanity was able to get to him. It's at that moment I think Omni-Man realized that the things on Earth, like the love he had for his son and wife, make it worth not invading. He wants to be part of a loving family, showing that Nolan has some humanity in him. I think Omni-Man is a bad dude, but he's not irredeemable, and I think we'll be seeing more of him in a positive light as the new season goes on. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day.